1,860,000.
You're running full speed, but the markets are faster. Quasar Markets Live brings the world's top financial minds to you. Everything you need to know in one place. Learn from elite educators and gain a competitive edge, leveling the playing field for you. Join the conversation. Quasar Markets Live.
Good morning, Quasar Markets Live. Howard here with your morning update pre-market prep. Let me just turn down that volume here. We did just have some economic data come out. Looks pretty good from what it's saying. So we'll see how the market reacts here right now because we were dropping into that data. Give me 1 second to look at it on this one. So it is coming slightly off the lows here, but not really. Okay, I just wanted to take a look at that one where I could see a little better if we were getting a big jump one way or the other. Again, good morning, everybody. Howard here to go through what I look at every day before starting my trading day here at Quasar Markets, my pre-market prep. So first of all, starting with the major indices, we do see that the Qs are down, the NASDAQ, the SPY is down, the S&P, and DIA is down, the Dow. Right now, the Dow is the major laggard or the biggest laggard at down about 0.5 percentage point, erasing what would have been yesterday's gains. The S&P, the most neutral of the three indices so far, trading right around 685.50 here. Down about 26 basis points. And like I said, the NASDAQ's down 35 basis points, trading at 608.45. Yesterday, again, we saw a solid move to the upside after a little bit of a whipsaw in the morning and pre-market. The markets, again, showed strength throughout most of the day. And as we start to look at things, though, I will mention the VIX here, 21.99, up about 4% from yesterday. But quite honestly, it is not, while we're paying a premium here for volatility protection, which is what the VIX gives you, we were up around 30 on Tuesday. So while we're coming off of the lows of yesterday morning, we are still at a fairly subdued considering what's going on around the globe when it comes to that. So I do think that is the case so far. Volatility index, looking at rates, they are drifting to the upside still. The 2-year, the 10-year, and the 30-year all drifting slightly to the north side here today. And, King dollar back in play, with it back above 99 here on the DXY. So folks are moving out of some of these trades and they are holding cash, it looks like. I'm sure we'll start to see data that will either lead us one way or the other to understand that. And a slight pullback on gold so far today, down at around 51.28. But again, that's had a pretty damn good run here over the last few days. Same thing, silver is down slightly, but still up at $83. So they're holding up What is moving back to the upside and more rhetoric around on Main Street media right now is WTI and Brent, the two oil prices there, both moving to the upside again today. And you can see it's continuing to set higher highs and higher lows in general. And talk today was, if things don't get sort of straightened out in the straits, or with it in general in a quick time, that you could see $85 to $90 WTI. That extra $20 jump would be a big deal. So taking that right off the bat leads me to say you better watch the energy names today. Your Chevrons, your Exxon Mobils, your Oxys, and down the road, even to the smaller ones like TPET and others, as they could show some decent strength today. Bitcoin holding up pretty well at 72,447. Same thing, Ethereum holding up well at 2115. Has had a nice 4 or 5 day rally on Bitcoin. Been a little bit more subdued across Ethereum. Will warn, of course, that, I said it yesterday on this show, 74K to look for yesterday, that we could squeeze to that level. We hit it almost to the dot and then retraced from there. It's been, a decent retracement here, but I'll point out we will visit most likely 63,000 again, 64,000 at some point here. So we've got more room to squeeze. We could even squeeze to 78 if we break the 74 today. There is a lot of on the heat map above us at just above 74K. So if we break that mark, you would see strength. So play the hand in front of you. But keep in mind that we're not out of the bear market yet on both Bitcoin and Ethereum on a bigger level. Again, ETF inflows were great overnight. Another $500 million or so. So that keeps the narrative going that institutions are moving back in. The other side of that I do have to bring up is we have seen some distribution out of the Asian whale sort of cohort there. So they are still selling into any sort of pops right now. That's what we'll have to keep an eye on. And then, like I said, Bitcoin still has some fuel if it gets to above 74 here today to short squeeze like it did yesterday to the upside on it. Overnight markets. Yesterday, we talked about how we added the KOSPI, right? The Korean Stock Exchange's version of the S&P. And part of the reason we were following it is that it is a bellwether for the storage part of the industry when it comes to Seagate and SanDisk and Western Digital and those names. And it's been a little bit of a forebearer on what's going to happen for tech. 2-day drop stopped. Nice little regain here, almost 10% bop to the upside. So maybe that gives some wings also to tech trade today. We'll see that here this morning. Nikkei under pressure a little bit today, down about 1.5% in Japan. China holding fairly steady, but again, we are at, lower levels here on the Hang Seng versus some of the other indexes. And Europe down slightly. They had been up throughout the morning that was leading us, and we were up, a little bit earlier this morning also. So it does seem like we're more correlated to the stocks than anything else right now. If we look through the sectors, it makes sense that energy is the one that's in green right now. The others are all in red. Energy up about 16 basis points here. And, the headline is definitely, Iran, the Straits. Are we going to protect ships? Are we going to be able to protect ships? What's going to happen? What happens if this stays more than another few days? And some of those uncertainties sort of are weighing on the market, which is helping energy stocks to the upside. We see otherwise not the biggest laggard, it looks like, is XLY here, which is consumer discretionary, down about 66 basis points here. The others are all within a 0.5 percentage point, though. So it's, while we are down, it isn't, a wipeout, and it could just be a sort of healthy pre-market pullback to yesterday's moves to the upside. So, again, we were up 1.5% on the NASDAQ, a little healthy reset here before it takes its next move up would not surprise me at all today. Advanced decline is down about 1,000 right now, so there is more sellers than buyers, or more stocks that are down than up so far, is really that takeaway to keep in mind. I think those are all my major indices looks. Yeah. With that being said, let's start to take a look at what is moving so far today. What are some of the movers, the shakers, the laggards, the gainers, the gaps up, the gaps down? So let's start with the positives. Let's start the show off with a little good news. And the first one to keep an eye on is TTD here today, Trade Desk. For those that don't know, Trade Desk is involved very much in the advertising world, ad revenue and all that. They are up 21% here right now, following a report that OpenAI has held talks with the company to help sell ads on its flagship ChatGPT platform. The ad technology company, again, jumped up in the pre-market here 21.5% as this information came out. This is a stock that's been beaten up, as you can see, has been really beaten up over the last, couple of years, quite honestly. It capped out here in December 2024 at 141. Now trading, even with this, nice move to the upside, trading at $30. So this one's been beaten down for a while. This, as we've seen the growth competition from Amazon and Google into their ad revenue, this would be a big one. Last month, OpenAI did say they would begin to test ads in ChatGPT in the US on their free and go subscription tiers. So that has TTD moving to the upside today. Question is, are you trading it or are you fading it? Let me know what you guys are going to do on it here. That's the question I have for everybody. Are you trading it? Are you getting in it now? Or are you fading from this $30 level? Another nice mover here today is Credo. This is a 2-day sort of mover to the upside. Yesterday it was up a little over 5%. Today it is again moving up about 8%. This was after their earnings and everything they had in place there. So a nice move to the upside, 2-day runner on Credo at 111 here. Next key resistance for it's right around that 115 level, most likely, but nice move to the upside there. We had talked yesterday, AVGO Broadcom was coming into earnings last night after hours. They had those earnings. Like NVIDIA, they had a beat on those earnings. They beat revenue by 17.37%, EPS, top line revenue by just a hair. And that has convinced investors that the growth in artificial intelligence chips and processors is still in play. Their record first quarter revenue on continued strength in the AI semiconductor solutions area is what their CEO said. Revenue for their semiconductor solution segment was $12.52 billion. So that did beat revenues. Their infrastructure software revenue for the quarter was $6.8 billion, which was just below expectations. AI revenue was $8.4 billion, and that doubled previous year. And expectations that were high coming into the print. Broadcom does trade at about 27 times its earnings, and that is more expensive, quite honestly, right now than NVIDIA and AMD. So Broadcom has that market moving. Others that are moving with it in the same sector today, Astera Labs up about 4.71. This was after an analyst upgrade by Loop Capital, but they're moving up on that news today. So in sort of the same area as and sympathy play where AVGO is concerned. So keep an eye there on both of those names. Seeing a nice little pop by Robinhood here today, and some of the fintech names that have some strength going into the open. Um, Robinhood, Affirm, both up nicely here. So those names are showing a little bit of strength here. As we talk about earnings and chips, Marvell, MRVL, they will be going into earnings after the bell closes this evening, up about 2.5% here in the last two trading sessions as it gets ready to go into its earnings. So everybody's eyes are definitely going to be there. On the downside, names that I am watching or that had earnings losses, Rigetti's a big one here. Cloud computing, quantum computing name, down here about 5% erasing. Yesterday was up 4.72. So really, it's just erased yesterday's gains at this point, although it is a bearish engulfing candle. They posted an adjusted loss of 3 cents a share for the period and revenue of about 1.87 million. So not a ton of revenue, not a ton, and losing money still. And their operating loss widened to 22.6 million from 18.5 million in the prior year. So, they're just definitely not looking good. That has some of their peers trading to the downside. Also, QBTS, IONQ were all under pressure after that. Another one getting hit here today, IREN. The data center name, IREN, down about 5.59% here so far today. So keep an eye on the other miners, could get under pressure since they are names like Mara that were up yesterday. Core Scientific, BitDeer are some of the big names to keep an eye on today for maybe a little bit of a slide based on that. And I will say most of the crypto adjacent names are down outside of Robinhood figure. To be honest with you, most of the others are in the red so far. We are seeing a pullback too across Corning. We know that it's made a big move up, GLW, over the past few weeks and past few months, quite frankly. It is giving a little bit of a pullback here today as the growth targets start to came into view here that they just released. So they're down about 137.60. We also see that JD, which is the Japanese retailer, down about 2.3% here this morning after they reported a plunge in their fourth quarter profits. So they reported adjusted profit of about 155 million for the fourth quarter, compared with about 160 million the year prior, and it came in slightly less than what was expected on the street. Their net revenue came in at 50.4 billion. It was an increase of about 1.5% from the fourth quarter of 2024, and it did exceed its estimates there, but they're definitely getting hit a little bit. We'll say AMD is getting hit a little bit here this morning, also down about 1.63%. No real news there, just seems to be down for some reason. Those were some of the bigger names I was looking at earlier. Let's take a look and see what else is moving in the pre-market now. Looks like American Bitcoin, the Trump family's Bitcoin mining companies, up here this morning about 6%. That's on news that their director acquired 1.8 million shares. So insider buying has that moving to the upside so far. Whoops, just hit the wrong button there. Also seeing that Wix, which had its earnings report here earlier, that's up about 5.5%. Let's take a look at what their earnings did. And again, if you don't know, Wix is really a spot where people make websites. Their EPS came in at a beat of about 25%. Revenue came in slightly less than estimates there, but the people seem to like what they're hearing. At least they're up about 18% in the last 2 days, and you can see They got down to 60 just on February 25th. Now back up at 88. So they do have a nice run for Wix over the last several weeks. Seeing if these other movers have any other news that's making them trend higher. We'll say some of the defense names again are continuing to show strength, especially Israeli company ESLT up 3.22%, up about 7.5% yesterday. So nice run for them. And some other defense names are in the top movers so far today. AVAV, another one, up 2.13%. We do see Expedia up 2.83% here this morning. Also, nice move to the upside. That's sort of surprising based upon most of the rest of that sector, and those sectors are under pressure. And what I'm talking about there is travel has definitely been under pressure. DoorDash up about 1.99%. This was based upon some new ad campaigns that they're putting in place, had them moving up nicely. And again, we do see some of the mining names and energy names moving up. Marathon MPC up about 1.66% so far today. I'm just trying to see if there's any other. Valero up about 1.24. Oh, we got to talk about Berkshire Hathaway. We'll definitely be discussing that with Steve when he comes on. But Berkshire Hathaway having a nice little run this morning after Greg Abel and the company reported that they had initiated a buyback, buying back a big amount. The exact amount was $15 million in their own stock. For those that don't know, Warren Buffett over the years has always said he will only do buybacks when he feels that the stock is undervalued. And it was brought up, it was asked on CNBC of the new CEO, Greg Abel, did you discuss this with Warren? He made it clear he did discuss this purchase with Warren, and Warren agreed that the valuation and timing was right. Interesting that it's the first time they've ever announced an insider or a buyback like this in an official announcement, and the amount and all that. They don't usually do that. They made it clear this was a one-timer because they did want to. It sounds like they wanted to sort of alleviate folks' fear. Are they moving in the right direction with the new management and ownership there? Not ownership, but new CEO. So they definitely came out and did it. And it has it moving up nicely, 492.54 now. It had gotten up even a little higher earlier. So we'll be asking BigBeat if he's a buyer along with Mr. Abel of Berkshire here. But that's definitely one of the big movers and shakers so far this morning. We do have a few earnings reports coming up after the bell. Like I said, the biggest one in my mind is definitely Marvell, MRVL chip sector, and it tends to be a beta name, a beta play, along with being, in that semi area. So I'll be interested to see what they have to say. Broadcom really did a good job of setting the table. That CapEx is not bad. They also sort of put out there, and alleviated a lot of fears. That's allowed tech to sort of move. So if Marvell can blow away some earnings here, you could really see a move on that side for sure. And again, so today's areas to keep an eye on is energy, as WTI continues to move up on the war and sort of the uncertainty here on whether we can secure those ships coming through the strait. So far, no one's really wanted to test that out. So that's still got WTI, moving in the wrong direction. It has oil and energy names moving in the right direction. Keep your eye on Credo, CRDO, ALAB, AVGO, Broadcom, and Astera. They're having good runs as AI semi-bid keeps on catching a bid here this morning. We do see some fintech names like Affirm, AFRM, and Hood moving to the upside also. On the gappers to the downside, quantum names are going to definitely be under pressure today. IREN with a move to the downside has me wondering if Bitcoin miners, or is this just a one-off on them, and sort of a secondary play on CoreWeave yesterday. We'll see that as the open comes, and there's a little bit of sensitivity when it comes to Chinese names today, as their numbers and their economy has not been very good either. So those are things I'm keeping an eye on as we head into the open here this morning. Good morning, Zora. Hope you're having a good start to your day. And let's take a look at what the indices are doing here. So the Nasdaq's down about 43 basis points so far today. The S&P down 32, and the down is the major laggard, down about 58 basis points going into the open this morning. Volatility, you're still paying a premium there, back above 22 here at 22.19. Elevated, not through the roof, but traders are paying a premium for volatility hedge today. Rates continue to drift to the upside, so my chances of refinancing my mortgage get worse by the day, so I'm not real happy about that one. Mr. Flanagan's happy because King Dollar is back in play. BigBeat, I know, has been talking a little bit today about a move back into the dollar by him and others, so we'll see what he has to say here in a few minutes on that also. Gold and silver taking a little bit of a hit in the last 24 hours, but again, they're still trading at a pretty high level, 5,100 on gold, 82 on silver. And it makes me wonder, because while they're not providing the hedge you usually see versus the uncertainty in the Middle East, oil is. It's up another 1.53% on WTI at 76.38. And we are seeing, at least in the body of these candles, higher highs and higher lows each of the last 4 days. So question again, can we secure those carriers coming out of the Middle East? Yesterday, everything was positive, like, hey, we got all this in the SPR we can use. A lot of other countries have SPRs that are sitting pretty good. Today, it was analysts all saying how look for WTI to break the 85 and even the 90 handle. So, again, I'm going to be all over BigBeat on that one this morning. And then Berkshire Hathaway is the other area we're going to cover with him on the news of the buyback there. So we got a lot to go over here. I'm also going to bring up, yesterday we talked about the Kospi, and we put it back on, or we put it on our watch list of morning pre-market prep, up 9% here. So is that money coming out of Bitcoin? Do we need to be nervous? Yesterday, he said that money was going into Bitcoin that came out of the Kospi. So today we got to find out, do we think that's the case, or is this just a quick look by the Kospi and he expects to see it rebound to the downside and challenge that 5,000 handle? Let's play the intro for the man himself and get him loaded up and ready to come in here.
When markets move, Stephen E. Orr takes the chair. From the White House to Wall Street, he's spent decades at the intersection of policy, markets, and real capital. And he's seen firsthand how institutions use data behind closed doors. Now, as founder of Quasar Markets, his mission is to pull those signals into the open so everyone can see what really moves the markets. This is Stephen E. Orr, BigBeat on Wall Street. Let's filter the future live.
BigBeat, what's going on, my friend? I got lots to ask you already this morning.
Let's go.
Okay, let's start with the latest news. Greg Abel came out and said they bought $15 million in shares in Berkshire Hathaway. Do you think it's a value here? I've been asking about this for a while. Or do you think this was just a PR ploy to right the ship, so to speak?
Well, what's interesting to me is that Warren Buffett says he will never buy his own shares unless there's nothing else to buy in the markets. Last week, Greg Abel said that he is turning this ship into what Warren Buffett would do. So if I were to follow that mantra, then Greg is saying there is nothing that he is interested in buying in the market than his own shares, because it's the only thing that he thinks is actually worth buying. I don't think that's the case. I think that's nonsense, because there's lots of things to buy here, and I've got a list of things. I've got a grocery list, as I call it, already ready to go. And it's not just stocks, by the way. It's things that I want to buy that I'm interested in. And one of the things I've looked at is oil, obviously. And I think oil, we have a glut of oil in the market. And if Greg Abel is saying that one of the biggest ownerships of his company, or that Warren Buffett put into it, is Occidental Petroleum. So OXY. So he knows how much oil is in the market, and if he's wanting to buy his own company, why is he putting it? Where's all this cash? And that's what I've said. I've said a lot of this money that's coming out of the market is going into cash. If you look at the market itself, the stock market itself, the selling, cash. If you look at the bond market, rates are going up, it's going into cash. If you look at the crypto market, well, the cash came out and put it in the crypto market. They're looking for places to put it. And if Greg Abel is saying, well, I'm not going to put it in the Kospi, they just took a massive beating over the last week, he's going to put in his own stock, his own company. And why do I say Kospi? Well, because he did invest. He has invested in India. He has invested, in this case, South Korea, with EVs in the past, and which they've taken off. So he's saying that there's literally nothing in the world he's more interested in buying than his own company out of tens of thousands of things to invest in. Okay, that's what Warren Buffett has said. That's what Greg is saying, that he's saying he's blah, blah, like Warren. So there you go. Okay, well, if that's the case, then no, I don't like this. I think it's bad. It's a bad sign for everything, but I think they're wrong.
Yeah, okay. I will say, I mean, for them, $15 million is like change he found in his pocket too.
That's like it's like a penny loafer, and he's not even got a penny out there, right? I mean, $15 million.
So I want to point that out also. So and he did answer some of those questions. So a couple of takeaways that I definitely have on it is, man, they're still not a buyer, never mind crypto as crypto. They won't even acknowledge still to this point that blockchain technology should have a spot. You know what I mean? I'm like,
right. Well, Warren always said he doesn't invest in things he doesn't understand. And we have a question.
He doesn't understand, like a circle. I mean, they kind of pointed to him to like, hey, the whole banking system looks like it's moving on chain. Doesn't that matter to you? And his comment was sort of like you just said, there's 100,000 other things I can buy. And we look at what we use. What he talked about, and we talk about it. But I think they need to get out of this mindset because they're not us. Invest in what you know. They said they look at the technology they actually use. Well, if you're still using an IBM, 1924 computer.
IBM is a good company. They make good hardware.
No, I'm talking just like a mainframe. I just picture that Berkshire Hathaway still has those mainframe computers sitting there in the back of a room somewhere, and someone's reading tape. Is that what you're?
That's definitely a vision I have. And as you're talking about it, Kramer's talking about Berkshire Hathaway right now on CNBC. So, we're saying almost the same thing, and that's kind of sad. But let's get into that. I mean, look, if I were him and he likes Occidental Petroleum, why is he not buying other oil plays here? And I think oil is overdone. James is asking the question here. I'll post it here so everybody can see it. He's asking, isn't the Strait being closed a potential way bigger issue than the market is pricing in here? I'll start with that first. The first question is the Strait of Hormuz. When we look at LNG, liquefied natural gas, we look at oil, the Strait of Hormuz is pulling oil from the eastern side of Oman, okay, and Saudi Arabia. And when you look at that oil push, where is that oil going to? And that's why the Kospi is down, right? Because that is going to the Asia side, right? And I was going to say even to the southeastern Asia, which is India and in South Korea in that case, but also funneling money and oil to Australia. So there are some places there that you can really think about. It's not really hurting the United States because we have more oil than we can stand, and we're actually
we're an exporter.
Right.
So that's a part there.
Number two, China, and if you look at oil in general, James, WTI is West Texas Intermediate. That's actually good oil. And Saudi Arabia has literally Texas tea, black. They have black tea, right? They have the good stuff. They have really good oil. That's why we like Saudi Arabian oil, because it's cheap, it's easy to pull it out of the sands. Nobody cares. It's a little harder out of West Texas, so it's a little bit. And then, of course, out of the North Sea, which is Brent, very hard to come out of the water because it's over water. And of course, the Gulf waters are easy because they're very shallow there. Shallow being 50 to 100 feet deep, 300 in some places. Not very deep when you consider the oceans tens of thousands of feet. All right, China banning refinery exports last night. Now, China is not a big exporter anyway, so I wouldn't worry about that. China's a massive importer.
Yeah, they're a buyer.
If both of these are true, it's not a big deal. No, it doesn't feel like the market is taking those risks into account. Oh, the market totally is taking those risks into account because at WTI needs in the United States, we need about roughly, if you're in the sands, which is the North Dakota, which we have fracking, you need about $60 to $65 a barrel in order for them to be profitable. Okay. Sand Ridge Energy, companies like that, the Permian Basin, which is Texas, needs about 50 to 55 to 60 to actually be profitable. And remember, the Exxon, the Chevrons, the Mobiles, the Shells, those companies that were digging and drilling in Texas, the Permian, and the Haas, and all those wells, they have a nice big bow and a number on them for just these very moments. So the president's right. Did I say that? Did I say that loud? The president's right that we have plenty of oil and not to worry about it. We'll just tap a few of our own. It's cheaper for us, and you're going to see oil coming back. In fact, I'm looking at reverse, and I'm looking at ETFs that are ultra funds to the downside. So get ready for that, like drip, things of that nature. I'm really excited about that one. So I'm looking at SCO yet, but it is hurting companies, and I'm taking advantage of it, folks, like Royal Caribbean, RCL. But I'm gonna look, if you can, Hondo, pull up a chart of SCO for me. And this is like exactly what I'm looking at. If you pull up a daily chart, yeah, thank you. This is what I'm looking at. We're way out of the bands. And yes, I understand you're very welcome, James. This is what I'm looking at, right? The oil market is out of control. Now, remember, this is not a play that you keep and hold forever. It's the play that you play because you think that the oil, if there's any kind of pullback in the markets. Now, yesterday you said, or we heard from Steve Flanagan talking about, hey, if we're using B-52 bombers to bomb Iran, 60-year-old planes to bomb a country of Iran, this is over. Well, it's not over. I don't think it's over, but he's right because he's saying that, look, we're using old technology to get the job done. And if we need to go and we need to put in F-35s, I mean, I talked about it the other day. We have F-25s going into this, right? They're not new planes anymore. We have F-35s. Boeing's got some pretty badass planes going in. They're not using them. They don't need to. Then there's a question mark, right? So this is not going to be a very, very, very long-term war. But I don't know that. That's what the administration is saying.
Right. And with the Kurdish starting a land assault, that changes stuff too. And put some more uneasiness, So what I would say is, and you just said it, it's the theta, it's the time. If this goes on and is over at this time next week, basically, and things are done, then the markets have done what they should, and they're going to pull back tremendously. If we're still here a week from now discussing the same thing, then it starts to wear on it because it is 20% of the supply. Eventually that catches up. It might take 14, 15 days, but if this thing kicks off more than that, that will start to catch up, right?
Yes, I need to understand what the catch up really kind of means. Does this mean that we increase our number of troops? Does this mean that we increase number of bombs? Look, we have seen a very good indicator of where Iran is that they dropped 53 bombs at the beginning of all this day one, and now they're down to like 20. By my next Friday, they'll be out of weaponry. So they're saying they got more things. I don't believe it. If they had it, they'd show it. They show their hand, right? They're already telling their neighbors, well, we're not really mad at you. You bomb them and you're not mad at them? Nah, they're just saying that, well, oops, we might be in trouble. And I just see right now where Iran's Aragachi now says they're seeking to expand ties with Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan.
Didn't they hit them yesterday?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, we didn't mean to bomb you. Now we're going to be your friends. This doesn't make any sense to me. I think the Iranians are in trouble, and they're really falling apart. And you can see, yeah, here we go. Keir Starmer, UK, is now so they're sending 4 more additional Typhoon jets to Qatar. So look, the world is starting to come together now. Spain's even saying, okay, hey, you know what?
Well, matters you asked there, because they came right out and and refuted what Miss Levitt said. Yeah.
So things are changing very quickly, folks, and I'm not too worried about it. I am putting an order in to short oil here. So I think oil at $78 a barrel is a little high for me. And are we going to 100? Maybe. Okay, if we do. But I know what my risk tolerance is, and I'm willing to. I don't think that's the case, right?
Yeah, I think the highest I've really heard is that 90-95 area, and that would be again a week from now, not this.
And you watch. Trump's telling everybody, and listen, when he tells you that, gotta listen. He's telling you, we'll all just release all the oil. I'm not worried about it. We've got things to do. It's great. Well, turn it on, baby, and let's short some oil. Like, so I think that's the case. I don't the oil being this way, I think it's out of control here.
Steve, were you happy with Broadcom's Broadcom? I keep doing that. Broadcom's earnings last night?
They're okay. I thought they were good earnings. Guidance was okay, in line. It's okay. I don't. It's AI, folks. I mean, and the minute they talk about the old technology, it's like talk about AI. Oh, okay. What are you talking about? Let's talk about this, right? And
that's where all the growth really was in their earnings. I mean, they did well in all the sectors, but that was the big move to the upside. Was definitely their AI area. So that was good to see from them. Steve, you and I have never.
Before you say that, hold on, Howard. Before you say that, you're absolutely right. And you talk about it from the technology side of it. As I talk all the time, I've got 27 AIs running. I don't put them all on the same machine. I can't. Even with all my NVIDIA machines, I can't. It's just it's too much for the machine. I've got on my I don't know if I should pull things around here. On my laptop alone, I've got like 3 or 4 AIs because they can't handle all the AIs, right? On my other bigger machine, I've got 15 AIs. So I've had to move them around. My iPad's got some AIs on them. You can't keep it all on one thing. So that might be a benefit to Intel, Broadcom, Qualcomm, all those companies, chipsets, Taiwan Semi, obviously. That's an interesting thing for me. So yeah, I like that.
Awesome. Steve, how about TTD, OpenAI? Did you and I miss something here? Is this thing have a secondary life? Are they going to be able to reinvent themselves in the area of advertising on the LLMs?
The Trade Desk, right? You're talking about the Trade Desk, TTD? Yeah, I like Trade Desk, but there's no reason for them anymore, to be honest with you. I like the company. I like what they thought they were doing, but there's really no reason for it. Even OpenAI says they're going to add it. They're going to start using them to do their advertising, not Google, not Apple. They're partnering with them. I mean, OpenAI needs to save costs. So this is how they're going to do it. Okay, I understand. It's like Vibe and Mountain and everything else. I'm doing this, I do the same thing, right? Save costs and go cheaper. But you got to do it in a way that's where people are, right? And people are on Vibe. They are on Mountain. They are streaming. Here we are. Look at the number of people that are watching us right now, Howard. And I'm looking at that. They are moving to streaming. But AI is just going to replace them unless they get their AI. What do I mean by that?
If AI is going to partner with them, maybe they're, again, we talk about companies, merger and acquisitions that get bought, things like that. It's
a good strategy. I like the strategy.
AI, and I don't want to build that. I don't want to build it. I'm going to buy it.
Right. And TTD could buy OpenAI, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But they don't really have it yet. So I'm not really sure just yet. I'm not really, I like the idea of it, but I'm not sure of it yet.
Okay. Well, I do see our man David Conley's ready to go. I'm going to bring him in here, get us all set to go. How are you doing today?
Hey, doing great. Heard you guys talking about AI, one of my favorite topics.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm going to let you guys take it over from here. I'll see you tomorrow, Quasar Markets. Have a great day.
Yeah, and good morning, Dave. Yeah,
Good morning.
I look at. It's so interesting about the markets moving, and it's headline driven constantly, Dave. And it seems that there's so many people that they're just glued to their comments and glued to the whatever's the next. That it's like if I miss something, and I'm seeing these like comments on Twitter and LinkedIn. Hey, this AI is going to replace McKinsey. This AI is going to replace XYZ company. Well, and it's the same prompt. It's the same thing and copied and pasted a million times, but yet the AIs are doing that, right? The AIs are doing their own thing. Most of these people are bots. They're not even real people, right? But it's really sticking in the psyche of people. They really think, oh my God, if I take this prompt, I'm going to be like McKinsey, a $6,000 analyst. No, you're not.
I've seen that too. Yeah.
All right, we're going to turn my charts on. I think everybody wants to look at charts today. I think I've been asked 4 times already. There you go. Well, it's interesting. Dave, we're talking about it from the perspective of oil this morning already. Several people have already asked about oil, and I am shorting oil here. You can see I had Roblox on from yesterday. I'm gonna pull it up. This is SCO. Hopefully I can pull up a 1-hour chart, and there you go. I am looking at shorting oil pretty heavily here this morning, and this is a reverse ETF, as everybody knows. SCO. I like it down here. Trump is saying, well, if oil goes higher, I'll just release more oil, and we can do that. We have the companies and the companies that are in bed with Republicans and President Oil, obviously. But when look, even with me shorting oil, it reminds me of the comment that General William Tecumseh Sherman said war is hell, right? And right now, I'm looking at the numbers from last year.
Yeah.
240,000 people were killed in skirmishes, wars, political violence, and conflict worldwide. And right now, we're already in the tens of thousands of battle deaths already. In Ukraine alone is forecasted 28,000 Ukraine, 7,700 in Israel and Palestine, 4,300 in Sudan, and then mid hundreds of thousands is now being predicted by World in Data. That's a lot of deaths around the world. I mean, we're talking about 500,000 people. Yeah, I get it. There's 7 billion people on the planet, Dave, but that's still a lot of people that are in war torn, and that's higher than so you can go look. It's higher than the past. How much longer are people going to put up with this?
They're not putting up with it now. For any conflict at the very beginning, it's the highest it will be. We started the war on terror, with Bush 2 at his highest approval rating. So that's as high as it ever got. And then it was just down, 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 down. And then, we got Obama. There's like, I'm getting you out of here, and instead he expanded it. Right. So it's people are already done with it. They are disenfranchised because if they're older than the age of 40, they've potentially voted against international entrenchments for a quarter of a century. We never got our peace dividend from the 90s. And so if you keep on voting for it and you keep on not getting it, then it's just increasingly upsetting more and more people. And that's what you're seeing certainly running up to the midterms. It's people are sort of done with it.
Yeah. And I'm on vacation next week, as you know, and I'm kind of done with it too. I'm sick. I need to clear the head. Right. I mean, when you're stuck like ourselves, was just bombarding with so much news, and I like being bombarded with news because I like making informed decisions.
Yeah,
and I think that's what people want too. They want to make better decisions,
right?
But I think people are just kind of tired of it, right? They just want to get back to normal. They just want pet their dog and hug their wife and
Touch some
relationships and they wanna like go back to work and have a job. They're scared. A lot of people are worried about losing their job, and they're worried about AI, and they're worried about Iran. And right now, a number of Americans that I was watching a lot of news last night about the number of people that are stuck overseas that can't get home by planes because they're right. It's just getting kind of crazy here.
The sun is not supposed to set on an American anywhere on the planet, and they clearly had no plan.
Yeah, and I have a dear friend of mine in St. Louis, and he has got this. It's funny because I always ask him about airlines, and he always has the same answer: "I don't ever invest in airlines." At first I was like, "That's kind of strange. Why would you do that?" And he's right. Airlines have had a good run here. This is United Airlines here, and I do see what might be a play here. I don't know, but I feel like in a lot of ways, Dave, that the nervousness and the scared of people right now, and the chaos and the chaotic tweets and the chaotic social media and the chaotic news and the breaking headlines and markets in turmoil and everything to get people to just get energized and get mad at each other and scream at each other in the keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
What can we do to tamp that down?
So the first is to recognize that you are in the 0.5% of people consuming information. And I'm on the political side, I'm probably a 0.5%. And what is online and what you're hearing on podcasts and what you're seeing on TV is not reality. The vast majority of people, there is a beauty in the ignorance. You just go and start talking to people and they'll be like, I have no idea what's going on, right? But they are very focused on things that they do have that are touching them. And when they see the international, adventurism, talking about tariffs, talking about things that don't matter to them, then they're like, what is going on? Because it is happening in the place of what they think is important to them. And that's where the political class, the Epstein class, the oligarchs, that's where they have it wrong. Over and over and over again, they're like, okay, rules for thee, not for me. We're going to keep doing our thing. And that's catching up.
Yeah, because the president's is going to lower my tax bill. The president's going to give me a refund for the tariffs. The president's going to go to, and we're saying the exact opposite of everything that he's doing. I mean, oil has gone up, tariffs have cost us, the inflation has gone up, jobs are more than ever now, and here's a nasty statistic that just happened this morning. The lowest number of houses for sale in history. Buyers now, it is absolutely in the toilet.
Yeah,
nobody's buying homes.
People are stuck, but where you're seeing movement, because I love watching real estate. That's another one of mine. Is that you're seeing all of the corporate owners, they're starting to dump because they can and they have to, right?
Yeah.
So like in those areas, like it is hemorrhaging down here in Miami. They're just like, it's all vacation homes.
If I look at D.R. Horton here, sorry.
They're getting out.
It's DHI,
and that's
right?
forcing the comps down, right?
And D.R. Horton, I mean, they have been getting actually walloped over the last. They were at 170 an hour down to 147 now, 151 this morning here. So, I mean, this company here, you can see, and look, if you're following it here at home, right, you can see the big move here. But now look at this. It's the algos. Look at that, right? The sine wave.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm if you're looking to buy homes, this is not a bad place down here, D.R. Horton. I do understand the D.R. Horton situation.
They're new homes, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah, I have a D.R. Horton home. And Toll Brothers being another one, right? There you go. There's your line. I'm telling you, that's always a good sign when people are buying homes and moving around because they feel comfortable, but they're not feeling comfortable right now. They're hunkering down.
Yeah, they're stuck, right? You know, it's too costly. The economics haven't caught up with it, right? So I mean, that's what I mean by the kitchen table issues. That's what people are actually paying attention to. They're paying attention to healthcare costs. They're paying attention to their jobs. They're paying attention to AI and how it's affecting their jobs. You know, on and on and on. These are the things that people are really impacted by, and there's nothing on the domestic front that's going on. I mean, you flying out of the Miami airport, it looks like a third world country. Like, it's just like, good God, it's a mess. Our infrastructure is not good.
When I fly, I go to Key West. Key West has a new airport, as you know, or a new look. They've cleaned it up and looks really nice, by the way. And I last year when I went, I go at least 2 or 3 times a year. And
Key West,
yeah,
it used to be really small. It used to be like a little building. So
it's a little. I'm saying, like, when I go there now, it's like, wow, what happened to all this like nicety? Like glass everywhere. It's nice. But I avoid Miami Airport like the plague. I mean, it's me and Heathrow. I try to avoid Heathrow at all costs.
Oh, it's bad. Yeah.
And Dulles, right? I try to avoid Dulles at all costs if I can, right? I do like JFK, but which I didn't at the time. I didn't like. I fly the Newark. Newark's okay now. Newark's nice actually. For those of you who don't know, I am buying a little bit more RCL down here. I picked up a little bit yesterday. I am starting to make a position in it. I think that's the beat up in the industry. I think you and I talked about this on Tuesday, Dave. I didn't make a play on Tuesday, but I made a play yesterday. I started buying it on the close, last night. So I do like this one here. So, all right, we got about let's get to it. We got about 2.5 minutes now. I'm going to put the Qs up here for everybody. The Nasdaq's feel the tech sector here. My numbers are still there, folks. If you can see it, hopefully you can pull it up there. There's my lines that I've kept. I'm going to take this line off. This is an older line now, but I'm showing you there where the buyers were, right? We know that there's a low. Pull it up for you just a little bit there. There were lower lows, and now that has turned to higher lows now. So I'm going to pull it down because the other day that there we go. And I'm going to change this out. I'm going to give you really good lines here to look for, okay?
Mm-hmm.
There's your new pennant. So I'm going to make that very tight for you so you can see right where we're looking at. And so if we're staying in those lines, that's where the lines are so far that unfortunately the algos are paying attention to. So keep your eye very tight on that, right? And this is a little bit below where we are. So 604. They're 607.5 now. So yeah. All right, we got about 60 seconds here. Here we go. Let's go pull up a 5-second chart. We will see where we are. What are you thinking, Dave? A bullish day or a negative day today?
I think things are so disjointed. I don't know why you're shorting oil when it looks different. I don't know why the VIX is so low when it was so high during tariffs. Like I don't get it. It seems very disconnected from reality.
All right, let's talk about that, Dave, real quick. Let's pull up oil futures here. I think that I can pull up WTI here for us.
Yeah, I looked at it this morning myself. You got me back looking at stocks. Love you.
All right, the WTI now $78 on the futures. If you look at the forward curve here, we're down to about 69, under 70 here in July. So forward curve is telling us the prices of oil will come down. People do think that's the case. So I do like that, and I am going to short oil, and I am using SCO here. The markets are now open here, and I will be picking up some SCO here. 77.85 now a barrel here, 11.74. So that short on oil looking good here. RCL here on the open here, and we are already seeing a little bit of a pop there on RCL as well. Oil does affect obviously fuel costs to the cruise ships. 77.75 now a barrel, coming down a little bit here. SCO here, we'll look at SCO, and SCO 11.75. Let's see what I My orders were in. All right. And yes. So I am long SCO at 1173 and we're 1175. And I did go heavy, folks. So those of you who did ask, I did go heavy. And I did pick up a little bit more RCL here. So, but I nothing so heavy that I can't continue to pick up some more. 285 is where I picked up Royal Caribbean, and we're at 286, 287 and 14 right now. I had a feeling that was the case. So liking what I'm seeing so far in both positions. WTI 77.76. 10-year now pushing higher here now, 4.144%. Tells me that money's moving into the dollar and the Dixie here. We'll pull the Dixie up too as well. Dollar now 99.05. Earlier today we got 99. If you listen to our boy Steve Flanagan yesterday, he told you that he thought the dollar was going to go higher, and it did. And he can tell you where that was the highs were, and he said where he thought he'd sell. And the numbers are pretty tight there. 288.27 now there on Royal Caribbean there. Liking this as oil continue to fall here. I still got it. Still got it, Dave. I still got it, my man. Yes. Loving RCL here this morning. 288, 289 now there on RCL. How many people raise your hand if you follow me on this one? I thought I was nuts. 289 a quarter now on RCL. Now the high is the day here. That you bought on the bottom, and it's going to be interesting. 609 now on the Qs, and oil still falling. 77.65 now here. They're listening to me, Dave. What's going on? 1177 now on oil on SCO. What do you think about Poland, Dave, selling gold to raise their cash, the zloty, to shore up their defense?
Yeah, you know what this instability has shown is that there has to be a mad dash to nuclear weapons, and Poland is at the top of that list. Any country in Europe, any country that has nuclear power plants, Brazil, they have to make nuclear weapons now. So because they cannot rely on the United States, they cannot rely on France. They have to do it themselves. So that's the proliferation problem that's going on. And then you have, continuing problems with Ukraine and Russia. So like they're seeing it on all sides. Europe is the most blood-soaked land on the planet, over centuries. So they've seen this story before.
Israel just said they completed their 113th wave of strikes in western and central Iran. Wow. That's a lot.
Very expensive. And
yeah, war is not cheap. War is hell, right?
Maybe $1 billion a day for us. They're putting through can you believe they're putting through a spending package for $50 billion more after $1 trillion budget? I am just nauseous about that. Well,
I mean, it's you're already seeing cracks in the Republican Party now. I saw the vote in the Oversight Committee, the House Oversight Committee, on Pam Bondi. She is going to be brought to the House floor to be in trouble. They're going to bring her to ask her questions.
Yeah, we'll see what's performative and what's not.
I mean, Comer just lost a vote. I mean, you're chairman of the committee and you lost the vote. Wow.
Yep. A lot of things are being pushed through for sure. But we'll see. I mean, there's a strong anti-system bias. That's what we saw in the primaries that just happened. That's what we've seen in the midterms. If you're left and you're right, even if you're incumbent, if you're anti-system, then you're being celebrated. So that's what's going to happen over and over again.
Yeah, you saw that in the elections. If you're an incumbent, you're pretty much out. They're really hating on incumbents right now.
But if you're anti-system, so like the Ro Khannas, the Massies, they're gonna be celebrated. We're in an era where the leftists are agreeing with Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and the right is cheering on Cenk Uygur. This is a new era.
I am liking this. I'm gonna buy a little bit more here of SCO here. I really do think that we will see folks. I do think we'll see a drop in oil prices. 77. Crap, I can't get even fast enough. I think we'll probably see. Yeah. All right, we're good. I bought a little bit more SCO here. Dang it, an oil dropping here again. Oof. $11.79 now on SCO. I think we'll see even more drop here in oil. Yeah, 77.59 now on WTI. So oil is struggling here. 11.78 on SCO. So let's see where I got in. I know I just went market on that last order, folks. If you didn't, if I didn't say that out loud, yeah. And I do like this pull back a little bit in RCL here. I do like a little bit more RCL. I'm really, really enjoying these markets today. It's giving me a chance to do the as I call the grocery bag or shopping. I go grocery shopping, things I want to own, that I'm able to own, and now I can because it's cheaper at my price that I want to own. Yeah.
Good times.
Good times. I get 72,700 back on Bitcoin. Bitcoin was dead a month or two ago. That's what I was being told on social media. Today, it seems like everybody's buying it, right? 1180 now on SCO. Those of you who are paying attention at home, wow, that was really good. I like that. All right. Any stocks out there anybody want to look at? So many people watching this today. What do you think about all that, Dave? Everybody's tuning in.
Love it. Love being a part of this. Thank you.
Welcome, my man. And I like the insight that you bring to us, the side that I don't always get to do. So I like that. Okay. 1180 now on SCO as oil 77.65 now a barrel. It is. I will hold this overnight because I do think that I think Iran will want to talk soon, and when they do, oil prices will just drop out a bit, and I think we'll see a nice move. Dow down 280, Nasdaq down 0.13. We're not really seeing much of a move here, so I'm liking this.
Yeah, I'd be cautious on the talking side. One, it's not clear who would be talking, and it's not clear what an off ramp is. The best case scenario right now is if the president just declares victory, saying, "Hey, we won," and then just pulls out. That would be best case scenario.
I mean, we did that, didn't we, in Afghanistan? We did that in Vietnam. We did that and it's just not right. It's not true.
After 10 years, I mean, but, like that's the issue. Now they're talking boots on the ground and arming Kurds. That's going to be tough on Turkey.
Arming the Kurds. Interesting. It almost beckons the day of Afghanistan all over again. It's a different area. It beckons the day we're going to arm, the Sunnis or the Shia, right? It's just so weird. Who do we pick? We caused this.
We've been causing this in this area since at least 1954.
Okay, we got. Appreciate that. All right, we got a question mark here. Thoughts on BN and BAM? All right, let's go for it. I like this. All right, so let's do the first one. Brookfield Corporation. For those of you who don't know what Brookfield is, yep, that's the energy. Yep. So I kind of like it here. I have a question mark around them. Are they there's your question mark. The volume is very, very low. Okay. There is energy here, but they are a large company, that one that a lot of people don't really know about. Okay. So I do like this. And of course, BAM is right behind it. Yeah. You're talking about Brookfield Asset Management, and Brookfield Asset Management is a company that is very well known in New York, Brookfield Properties. And yes, I do like Brookfield Properties. The question mark is, we just had that talk, right? Is that are people returning back to work? Are they going into it? And I think the answer is yes. I believe their dividend yield is 4%. So that to me is good. So hope that answers your questions there. But again, that's just my opinions. Don't go rush out and do it. Royal Caribbean now 287, almost 288 again now. I'm loving it. Bought more. And this I like this here. Oil 77.92 now, pushing up a little bit. Still don't care. I still like oil down here. I like the push here. I think we'll see a sell off in oil come what may. I mean, you know what your risk is. So go ahead, Dave.
No, just hopefully they know something. That's what the oil's not moving, so I'm hoping that they know something we don't. I like it going down.
Well, here we go. Trump officials just came in. Trump officials have now said they brokered a massive U.S. Venezuela gold deal there. So, Trump likes his gold.
No, he puts on everything.
Gold prices are pushing higher, 5107 here now. IBM 251.58. Now I am out of my. For those of you know, I have sold on IBM. I've sold my Nvidia. Sold my CoreWeave yesterday. So I'm all out of all that. Palantir, I'm out of. I do like this MongoDB run. I got out. I took my profit there too as well. But MongoDB up into the 5.5%. AI is winning, folks. I mean, if you don't think so, MongoDB is exactly that company. So, yeah. But it looks like the market's kind of chilled out now here. Yeah, crude prices extend gains according to CNBC. WTI has hit the highest levels since June of last year. That's why I'm shorting it, folks. I think that the oil prices are way out of here. The ITF now has said the Hormuz to be designated a warlike operations area. Seafarers will be given right to refuse Hormuz passage, says ITF. Okay. We already know that. Nothing we don't know. Yeah, so you're asking about tries recovery. I do. I actually do like it, actually. I think you're right. When you look at asset management classes of major companies, right? One that I do like to keep my eye on is and look, I get it. It's overextended. Everybody's in it for protection. It's realty income. Why? Because they pay a nice 5% dividend yield, and they pay every month. And I do like that. And that's how I need to know, right? I need to understand this stock. If this stock is pushing up, then the rest of I'll do another one for you there. You can look at Ares Management Corporation. That's a little bit cheaper if you want to go that, and pays a 3.86%. Sports 3.86%, and they have their bonds. Look at this. Their ITV term structure is lowering and lowering. So they are paying their bonds. They are paying their bills. So this is getting a really good move here on Ares. I do like Ares. NRF is the other one, right? That we do like. Used to be NRF, but not, I think that's right. They're gone now. Yeah. Okay, so that I do like it. I'm not completely sold on it though, but let's see how retail works. And O is the one that I follow the most. Pretty quiet market here. 287.80 now back on RCL. Palo Alto Networks, PANW. That was one that I have been following, still up 2.42%. You saw that with Jim Iorio on the show here, saying he liked Palo Alto Networks. He loved the curve. And I thank Jim for the money. And you can see what we talked about the other day. Boom. And we did that. So I took that money and ran yesterday. I kind of wanted to hold a little bit, but it was too easy money for me. I took that money and ran. 77.97 now on WTI, pushing just a little bit higher, but not much. You still know that that's where it's at. 287.40. I mean, the market's chilling out here. Unity Software took a massive dip the other day. I like Unity Software. They're still making games, folks. And again, what did we talk about? Again, we knew where the buyers were, and we did. I already took money off on that one too. Look, I'm as nervous as everybody else. I'm not as nervous as a 9-tailed cat in the rocking chairs in the room, right? So, but I still don't. I think the markets are still working. We're still fighting the computers, though.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm liking this oil here. Oil really needs to get to $80 a barrel before I get nervous. If I'm not nervous here, why am I not nervous?
Yeah. Tell me more.
All right, let's get to it. There we go. So if we were to go back, let's go back monthly. Okay. And I'm going to try to pull these charts up so that it really comes out. So hopefully you guys can all see. I know that my charts are small. And I try to make them bigger for everybody. And if you notice me scrolling like this all the time, it's because I'm trying to make it fit for your screen, folks, and for TV. All right. So let's just say oil shortage 2021, 2022, right? Got to 121. That's why I'm not too concerned. If you think that the world's going to fall apart, then all right, then there's 70, then you're going to get to about $86 a barrel, right? So I don't think that's the case. And you can see where we're in our case here, where RSI has just literally lifted off the planet here. And we know that every time that it does that, it goes back down. So I'm not concerned about this movement at all. In fact, I will be picking more oil shorts up over the next 287 now on RCL, a little bit below the flat line on the day, and IBM 252.74. Maybe I sold my IBM too soon here a little bit. Probably did. That was my biggest position, but that was a little too heavy for me. So I'm okay with that. We can do spot crude for you, 78.30 now a barrel. There we go. You can see where my selling was right there, right? That's where I think that that's my limit is 80.40. And I do have a there, but I don't think we're going to get there. Look, we've run from 55 to 78 in less than a few days. So, folks, a few months. I think it's too much, to be honest. But can it go higher? Of course it can go higher. But you can see what I'm thinking here. 78.12, we're already coming back down already. Tick now pushing higher a little bit here. Flat on the day, but pushing up. It was down about 400 there. Q's now the highs of the day, 610.66. UK sends jets to Qatar as Starmer warns conflict may drag on. And that's why you're seeing oil pushing up on those headlines. But so what? I don't really think Starmer is really involved in this too much.
No, a lot of lip service.
Yeah, Secretary Heggs at the DefSec now says that U.S. military now has operational control of the southern border. 0 people are crossing illegally.
U.S. southern border.
That's right. Sorry, did I? There you go, folks. The United States military is now controlling the southern border of the United States. RCL slipping here a little bit, 285.79. And oil now, WTI back to $78 a barrel. We hear reports that Representative Lisa McClain has bought BBAI here, BBAI, BigBear.ai. And she sits on the House Armed Services Committee, folks.
But it's also like the time when in the 90s when everybody put just .com on the end of everything. You just have to say put .ai on the everything. It's like,
I know.
AI.
These companies that did that, tick now popping 316 now here. Look at that, folks. Look at that. If you're paying attention, stock's jumping right now. Look at that, 393 now. Stock's up 2.5%, Dave. Other than the headlines are paying attention, right?
This is why Dan Crenshaw got voted out.
394 now a share. Highs of the day, up now 3% on the day based on that tweet. And oil slipping here right below the 78 handle now again. $3.95 now a share, Dave.
Now I'm wondering what they do. Hold on.
See, pays to watch, yes, folks. Pays to watch. Down 420 points here as the Nasdaq flat in the day, and Spruce here only down by 0.27%. Oil now 77.90 now a barrel, continuing to slip again, and SEO pushing right back up. So I do like that. Yeah. Hegseth now says the U.S. military couldn't find drug boats to sink for a period in February as a sign of deterrence is working. Yeah. Folks, if you're paying attention, it's now 397 now on Big Bear. It's up now 3.6%.
God, what a terrible website. Still don't even know what they do. Yeah. Just corporate speak.
402 now. Yeah, there you go, folks. I'm hearing call buying is heavy now in BBAI. So there you go. Up now at 5%. Toyota says they'll cut their output by nearly 40,000 fewer vehicles headed for the Middle Eastern markets. Volume now is 6.93 million there on BBAI.
If I watch any more news, I'm going to push all my chips in on liquor companies. How's Brown and Forman doing?
Yeah, but you look at Brown Forman and gosh, you know, people just are not drinking as much anymore, right?
Okay, right. We need the publicly traded weed companies.
Or nor that I've spoken, whether or not, you know, I think none of it. I think people are trying these gin ZBD SFs, whatever they are today now. They're just not drinking and not doing drugs.
Maybe that's why we all have these issues.
They're kind of boring. I don't know. It's like, but Brown Forman is hurting a little bit, folks, for those of you who don't. And Constellation Brands too, as well. Somebody asked me earlier about Constellation Energy. We can pull that up too. I do like Constellation Energy, and I'll tell you another one I do like in New York area is Con Ed. Now, for those of you who are paying attention to Quasar Markets Live, I was very, very bullish on Con Ed when it got down to $96 a share. This is where I really liked it, and now we're at 110. I am no longer in it, but one thing I do like about Con Ed, and I'll show you, is that they are paying their bonds. They pay a nice, if you are in the bond market, the fixed income market, you're looking pretty good right now. They pay nice 6%. Yeah. Rich people like their heat.
Yeah, another angle that I liked was, coming from Virginia, I like Dominion Energy because they had both the data centers and the energy.
Dominion Energy, ticker D there. I do think you're right. I think that Dominion, pays a nice 4.27%. Yep, they do. Good old, and explain why it's called Dominion, Virginia, right?
That's it.
If you want to go there, yeah.
Although it's Commonwealth, old Dominion Commonwealth.
And of course, Duke Energy there too as well. Yeah. SCO as oil 77.88 now a barrel. I 85 now a barrel. I think oil is just it's tapping out the top here. So I do like this play on SCO here a lot. If I need to get over that, if I get over this 15 handle, I'll be happy camper. I'm pretty heavy. 1178 now on SCO. Q's now on the highs today. Tick now up 600 here as the markets are still pushing higher here. Wow, thanks for all the people that are watching today. Wow, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that button. We also have an Instagram account. We started pushing on that too as well. And of course, my own QM BigBeat and Quasar Markets Instagram. And Dave, you gotta put your socials out there. You can. People will definitely be following you.
I am forbidden from logging into the comments, so I'll fix that.
Oh, sorry.
Week after next.
Fix that for yourself, yeah. Tick now up 700 here. Gold pushing here 51.09, and the Q's on the highs today. Nasdaq has turned green, as you know, and Dow still. SecDef Hexeth now says LATAM military leaders border security must be top priority here. Not trade, not wow, okay. I don't know if this is actual news, but Britney Spears has been arrested in California.
Finally. The terror of Britney Spears, we've been freed of that.
I mean, I thought is Pete Hexeth. Yeah, okay.
Free Britney.
I mean, this is breaking news now. I mean, this is big time now, Dave. I mean, we are really, this is a big time. Q still pushing here, 612. Yeah, we're still seeing the markets moving here a little bit. Now, if you look at my charts, folks, this is about where they are, right? I keep my eye on this. So let's see if we can break out of this. If we can break out, it could look good here. So where the sellers are, we know that's where the sellers are. There's no bids in here, so be careful up there. RSI is getting a little frothy too. 72,700 now on Bitcoin here, as Bitcoin also pushing higher here. BBAI now back to $4 here. It got to as high as 404. 612.70 now on the Qs here. So we are still seeing more buyers here in the Nasdaq. Dallas, want to see some buyers too as well. Tick up 647, and the advanced decline is still negative by 2,000 stocks there. So more stocks in the red than in the green. Oh, I guess she was arrested last night. I'm sorry. She was arrested last night. Partying a little too hard, I guess.
Poor Brittany.
Spot gold now pushing higher here at 51.15 now. WTI now 70 back to $78 a barrel, but still can't break out of that 78 handle there. Just really struggling there. IBM now up $4 on the day, folks. MongoDB now up 8% on the day. Unity Software, you heard me talk about you earlier today, now up 4% as well. Oracle also up 3% as the Nasdaq pushing here. All right, Dave, any final thoughts here? It's 10 o'clock.
Go out, touch grass.
I agree with that. Thanks for the show. Zora, you are absolutely welcome. You're at 8 points. Well done in the Qs. I love that. You're very welcome. Thanks for the day. Have a great day. I appreciate the watch. Dave, I appreciate you too as well. And we will get right back to you. All right, guys, we'll see you right back here a little bit later today.